this episode, I met with musician
Eduardo Del Signore
from Uruguay, who uses music to spread his message of peace and peace to create his music. My name is Kaya Sakamoto, and you're listening to Climate Vibes. After reading about Eduardo, I was curious about a couple things.
You have like a really crazy life story.
I do. Different.
Yeah, very different. I was very interested about your time on the boat and also just what you thought was the most pivotal moment in your life.
Okay. So, where do you want to start? The boat or the most pivotal moment?
Let's start with the pivotal moment.
Well, there are a few. Obviously, the day I took the first breath, and the day I became conscious of the breath. Those are the most pivotal moments for me. And coming to the realization that peace in my life is my responsibility, and is inside of me, and I have access to it, and therefore, I can feel that peace,
Mm-hmm.
But it takes effort, and behind effort there is grace, and after that there is joy, and there is gratitude. Yeah, but it's all related to my, the first breath, and then when I realized that what that breath was, getting conscious.
Were there any other moments you can remember thinking about music specifically? Or
Yes, the music, very early age. I was just going back through some pictures, and I was 1.5 years old, that I was already going around carrying a drum. And I was born in Montevideo, in Uruguay, in a neighborhood that was predominantly black. And we had what is called the Afro-Uruguayan rhythms of candombe. People used to go and play on the streets in summer nights, very late. And even though I was already in bed, I would come out of bed and wake my father up. He would get out of bed and take me to where the people were playing on the streets, And I remember just getting like blissed out of just being in that rhythm, and just like very tiny thing, just dancing in between all the drummers and crying. I didn't even know why. I didn't care, just felt amazing. That was the call for me for music. And that feeling is what I look for in everything I do.
how has your music played a role in your advocacy?
Oh, I understood that music comes from the same fountain, the same source. That energy that is it everywhere, and is the glue to anything that is, and is that energy. I learned that because somebody taught me a way to bring the attention of all my senses that are always pointing out. They're turning around with a couple of techniques, and admire, contemplate what's inside. So because of that and the experience that I got from doing it, which was very peaceful, I understood that peace is inside of me. And I understood that music belongs to that palace, is part of it, It's the arts, and it is also, anything that is made with that particular platform of a feeling, science, architecture, you name it, writing poems. I mean, I don't know, just sitting and looking at a sunset. I mean, there's so much. We are surrounded.
So then that goes into your work with like advocating for peace, like your organization, A Call to Peace.
Well, the what happens is I was watching a video of this man. His name is Prem Rawat, and he was talking about that peace is a responsibility of each individual, and that resonated with me. And at the end of his speech, he said, "What can you do?" So I thought about it, and it's like, well, I can do music, so I can put my work to the service of putting out that message. And at the same time, well, it took a while, but I created this nonprofit organization, the Call to Peace Foundation, that is there. We organize concerts and workshops to raise funds and awareness of the work of other organizations that work with, that's how I met ClimateMusic Project. That's how I met the Interfaith Power and Light organization. Many organizations that are doing a lot of work for social justice, racial justice, homeless students, kids that are very talented but don't have money for tuition, guided parenting, reflective parenting, clean water, peace education, water, air, and food awards, which is an organization that give awards to other organizations around the world that are focused on sustainability and providing food and water to places that they don't have access or they are very poor. Anyway, so I got involved with that, and you meet a lot of people that are doing great work. So that's what we do.
I remember last time we spoke, you said you were talking about peace and how we all need to find peace, or we have peace inside of us.
Yeah, it's like a process of discovery of your own self, And I mean, peace, basically the meaning and the message that comes through in the Call to Peace work is that peace is the responsibility of the individual. If you want it, you have it and you can feel it, but you have to make a little bit of effort.
Can you relate that to taking on climate change or trying to mitigate climate change?
It's very simple, because to me, the being human caused, this is an issue that was created by human ignorance of him or herself, of who we really are. And then we just tend to do more on a matrix of focus on profit rather than the joy of life. And in a way, there is a concept that, to have a war these days, you need trillions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because it became a big business. So wars are very expensive, and they're a way of making a lot of money for different companies. I don't think a lot of people realize that there is a lot of money that could be made in peace. It's just a matter of losing the fear. It's just like, calm down, it's okay. I mean, the cause of the climate issue and many issues is because of the ignorance of the self, the fear of, people are afraid of their own shadow. And that's because the people don't know themselves, so when fear comes, it's good to remember that there is another side to that. That fear is just like, somebody turned off the light, I don't see what's real, so I'm afraid. There is, if the cause of climate change is that human condition, that other part of the human condition, then what I do is directly related to it, because my whole purpose is to put people in touch or help people get back in touch with their own nature.
One of the things I really liked about Eduardo's music was how he uses the sounds of nature in his pieces. So let's hear a little bit more about that.
I had a question about page 0 because I read that the first sound is the ocean. Is it from Uruguay?
No, I recorded that in Brazil. It's a place called Búzios. It used to be fisherman's village, and the geography of the place is amazing.
This is actually where the boat comes in. So before we continue, here's a little backstory.
I went away from Uruguay in 1977 as a consequence of we were in the middle of a dictatorship, 2 to 3 years into it, and it was awful. It was not much, you never knew what could happen to you. We were playing a series of concerts, and sometimes when you finish the concert, there is the army waiting outside just to take you for a night, just to stand you in front of one of those one-way mirrors and check you out for the whole department to know who you are, and things like that. That changed my life too. So we were having concerts, and one of the guys in the band met this French guy that was traveling from Dakar across the Atlantic on a sailing boat, and on his way to Buenos Aires to get new sails for the boat. And they became friends, and the next day they came to the concert. I didn't know about it. There was this Senegalese guy living in the boat, traveling with the French guy. So we were invited to the boat, and we had a quintet at the time, and 3 of the musicians we went to the boat, became friends, hung out on the boat, start learning about life in the sea, and how the sails work and all that stuff. And then the owner of the boat says, maybe we just put together music and sailing and see what happens, And so the 3 guys in the band, we say yes and left Uruguay in a sailing boat.
And now let's get back to the sound of the ocean in Búzios.
We anchored in that, in that place for months. It was so wonderful. Just the sunsets and the sunrises were like just mind blowing of beauty, And I remember very well that I was standing looking at the sunset on top of the boat, and it's the first time I felt that I should pursue this finding peace inside of me. That was in that place on top of the boat looking at the sunset. that was my first answer to myself, and I put first answer Buzios because that's where it happened. And that was 1977, 78,
I went in 2004, all that time after. I went back because Milton Nascimento's family invited me to spend a couple of weeks in their resort in Búzios. One night after, the whole social activity in the house, everybody went to sleep and I was by myself, and the house was on the edge of the sand. So I could hear the waves, So I brought the equipment, plugged it into the wall, put a microphone outside of the window, and that's the ocean that you hear in that album.
About the album, do you have any more like hidden sounds in there?
There is a song called "A Nice Day." I was living at the time in Point Doom, and I was writing the song and recording it so I would not forget it. So I was playing. It was a beautiful day. It was a nice day. It was the window and the door were open. My dog, the little Pomeranian, she was just sitting at the door there looking outside. Everything was just perfect. And I was playing the bridge part of it, and this mockingbird came pretty close and started singing to what I was playing. And it's in the album. I never changed it. I left. I just I built the song from that take on the guitar.
So are you excited to work with the ClimateMusic Project?
Yeah. I have a framework of about between 12 and 14 minutes, and it's I like a lot to work with polyrhythms and also with different scales from different parts of the world. So I have recorded. In page 0, there is I think there is a song that is called Keys of something. Now I don't even remember the name of my song.
Keys of Life?
Yeah, that one. That's a study on Egyptian scale starting in E. I wrote that for the guitar, and then I came up with that, that melody that comes up, and it repeats every once in a while. And then from that scale, I also created the harmony of all the textures in the end. So I like to work with that kind of scales, and study them and what effect they have on me. And it's beautiful. It's pretty deep, and in combination with the polyrhythms and different styles of music, of things that I have been exposed to, like tango or candombe or Brazilian jazz. And
I had a conference call with the scientists, and they're really wonderful people, and they understood my view of what I can see is the cause of the problems, and which to me is the human condition, and because basically my image was, we're sitting on a branch of a tree, and we're like just sawing to collect the wood, but it's the branch we're sitting on. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's crazy. It's unconsciousness, it's greed. That's what is causing it. And then they gave me 3 options: human condition, consequences, and positive outcome. And to me, they're all like, intertwined. It's like human condition is the cause, and also humans are the ones that can fix it. If it was the Martians, it would be difficult. But if being us, we created, we can change it, It doesn't take much, really.
Thank you to Eduardo for the interview, as well as for his recordings of Candombe and the Ocean in Buzios. The songs you heard were A Nice Day and Keys of Life. Thank you also to Poddington Bear for the song Tender and Curious. My name is Kaya Sakamoto, and you've been listening to Climate Vibes.